Hello. On today's episode of Making It in the Real World, I'm sitting down with Marco Urrabazo, an instructor here at Cape Fear Community College, and he's going to tell me all about his experience in the film industry and his experience as an instructor here at Cape Fear. Marco, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I'm really looking forward to it. I bet you got a lot of good information that you're going to share with the audience.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
So to start, just tell us kind of about yourself, who you are, and where you came from, and how long did you work in film?
Sure. I'm originally from Lansing, Michigan.
Okay.
Moved here in Wilmington 2007.
Okay.
And started the film program the fall of that year.
Okay.
I here at Cape Fear Community College.
Yeah.
I was a student up until 2011.
Okay.
And that's when I graduated with my associates here. My first gig in the pro world was I was a camera PA on One Tree Hill, around 2008. It was like my second year here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. I got into it because I knew how to wrap cable.
Yeah.
That's
a
it.
useful skill. It's a useful skill.
Over under.
It's a lot harder than you think it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did you work before you shifted to teaching?
I was a TA in the anatomy and physiology classes here at Cape Fear.
Oh, that's cool.
For about 9 years. And
Okay.
while I was doing that, I was doing industrial videos of how-to and educational videos and stuff. So that was from 2011 to 2020 that I was doing that. But film, I was 08 to 2012, 2013. So it was about 4 or 5 years that I was doing pro stuff until I went to still a pro, but less AAA, big budget movies and more independent stuff by myself.
Okay. That's awesome. So what got you interested in film in the first place?
Short answer, James Bond, actually.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I would watch my first, I think I was 13 or 14 years old, and my parents got me 4 James Bond DVDs because I used to rent the VHSs.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got the DVDs, that was my first foray into special effects, or not special effects, but special features and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what? It takes 300 people to do this kind of stuff. So that got me into it. I started to study production designers, DPs. I started memorizing that. I don't know that information anymore. I wish I did. But I nerded out. If there was a Trekkie version of James Bond, I would have fit into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or that kind of thing. But, I was an odd kid, man. Everyone else was into Star Wars and stuff like that. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just wanting to learn how to make films through watching behind the scenes. That wasn't readily available when I was a kid. I couldn't just go on YouTube and watch all that kind of stuff now.
Yeah. I actually I miss that because a lot of streaming services don't really have special features for their stuff. I mean, some do.
Yeah.
But even the stuff they do have is kind of surface level. They'll have a 2-minute video on Netflix about the making of. And I wish when there was just hours and hours and hours of special footage, but I feel a lot of that's kind of gone away.
The ones I recommend still to this day are any of the Lord of the Rings ones.
I remember my parents watching those when I was a kid.
Yeah,
there's
those
so
are great.
much.
Those are great, man. I mean, that's film school in a nutshell. Just watching all those different departments, especially the art department, because it's so big. The art department is the biggest department.
Oh yeah.
And just watching. I remember watching when I got the extended edition DVDs back in the aughts, seeing all the little old ladies put the chainmail together.
Yeah.
For the movie and stuff. I was like, oh, this is rad. I was like, oh, they don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, for sure. So you said earlier that your first professional gig was on One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
How did you get that gig?
Same as everyone else. Duke got a phone call. They needed someone to. It was meta because it was a USO show for troops in Camp Lejeune, but it was also in the storyline in One Tree Hill. So they had a concert within the show, but then they also did a concert for the troops after they filmed the scenes. Okay. And they needed extra hands to man cameras. So I was just an additional camera PA. Actually, they're now camera utilities. Camera PAs don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I was getting I got boned. I was doing video assist and all these other like technical things, but still getting paid like PA rates.
Ooh, that stings.
I know.
Dang, I'm
I know.
sorry, man. That's
but it was the time. It was a different
that's
time.
how it is.
It was a different time.
Yeah, that's how it is sometimes.
But that's what it was. We had like 5 or 6 cameras running for the concert, and they just needed runners because that was when they still shot on Super 16 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to run, and there were people that were just loading all day, and I was just running back and forth.
Okay.
Loading, Loading 16 millimeter, and that's how, it was wild. It was my first time being on a pro set, and it ends up being like a huge, weird, crazy concert / like, it was insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was thrown in the lion's den. Trying to remember who was the bands. Tom DeLonge. It was Tom DeLonge's.
Angels and Airwaves.
Angels and Airwaves. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I got to meet him as like a little punk rock kid.
Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to meet Tom DeLonge. Talk to him about aliens. Yeah.
He told me an inappropriate joke. I'll share with you guys later. You know,
okay.
I don't want anyone to get in trouble. But he was super nice.
I'm sure.
Super nice.
No one knew. I'm sure he raunched it up. What were some of your favorite sets you worked on when you worked in the industry?
I day played. I didn't really day play. I worked and helped with like different JDC, Joe Dutton Camera, which is now just Dutton Camera now.
Yeah.
I interned there for a while, and Cine Partners, there's no longer around, but they were a rental house for a minute. The Iron Man 3 sets were really cool. I remember that. The Swamp Thing sets were really cool because they actually like built a whole swamp and stuff on stage 10.
That was my freshman year at UNC.
Okay, cool.
I tried to be extra on that, but I got the climb.
Oh man, yeah. What was the Sherlock? That's not Sherlock Holmes. It was Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow sets were dope. Yeah. That was cool. Like a lot of like the sewer systems. Journey 2, when I worked on that was Journey to Mysterious Island. Yeah. It was half in Hawaii, and then like all the stage work was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parts of it were filmed here. Okay.
Those were cool. Those were cool sets.
I'm sure.
They were cool. I mean, that's the one thing I will say about like Wilmington that I heard from like guys I worked with from Atlanta, New York, and LA is like, even when green screen and any of those kind of special effects was happening, we still did a lot of practical sets. And so they were just like, oh man, this is dope. Instead of just getting into a room that's just all lycra suits and dots for people.
Cough, James Cameron.
Yeah.
Do it the Christopher Nolan
Exactly.
way.
Yeah. Okay. So it was cool. Like there's a lot of really hidden talent in Wilmington with all the departments, but art department for sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, I mean, One Tree Hill was fun, but it was just, you know, locker rooms and hallways. And,
it's a teen drama show. So it's just that type of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
You said you did a bunch of different stuff in the film industry. Can you kind of summarize that for the audience?
For sure. When I was a student, I didn't know what department I wanted to get into. So I would just go fill in wherever I was needed. And normally it's grips, you know, normally it's electric, you know. So I started out as a grip for a while, did electric work on, I think the last thing I did professionally electric work was a horror movie, indie horror movie called Pieces of Talent that came out like in 2010 or so. The guy I was being an electric with, we were both swing, so we did G and E, grip and electric. But he ended up being shout out to Neil Orchard. He's now like he's the best boy. He's the best boy. He was the best boy on I think all seasons on not Eastbound and Down. Righteous Gemstones.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was
the best boy
Charleston,
electric.
right?
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of those crew I used to work with here in town.
I know we lost a lot of people to Charleston a couple of years ago.
Charleston, Atlanta,
Savannah.
But, all over the place. But yeah, Genie there. Then I did some sound work. I did second unit stuff, sound utility for Eastbound for a few days, just day playing. But I really fell in with camera because of my digital knowledge. And so once cameras started going digital, I knew how to troubleshoot it. And so they're like, hey kid, why don't you stick with us, you know, to try to figure this out. So that's when I stayed in camera for a few years. And then I started getting into DIT, but DIT wasn't even a position when I started out. So I had to learn the hard way. There was a local production company here in town, God, almost like 18 years ago, called DV3, and they were one of the first to order a Red 1 back in 2008. So I was dealing with 4K images to do my math. Is you there? 17 years ago? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Once I tried to put the footage in there, like the computer would start like smoking and bleeding.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it didn't know how to handle any of that stuff. It was wild.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of what got me into DIT, was just being able to manage that data, learn what proxy files were. I had no idea what even they were back then.
Yeah.
And just kind of figure out a flow. And I just did it myself. I have to figure out notes and stuff. I think I have, hold on. I was just looking through my bag. So these are some of like my old notes. That how I would like transfer data and stuff with like raw footage and everything else.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You
can show
it to the camera.
Yeah.
That is insane. That is
crazy.
That's how you had to do it back in the day before.
Before software. Before any of the software and stuff.
Do it for you. Yeah.
So like when like producers would ask me like how many minutes and whatever, I would do. Yeah. That's how old school I am. I still do it. I still do that stuff.
Yeah.
So this is from the short that the wrestling short. That was me. The potato. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. That was a fun
me doing my own posts and stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Okay. So you said I'll ask you a couple of different ones.
Sure.
You said that you were a DIT for a while.
Yeah.
What are like for people who don't know what that is? What is a DIT and what do they do? Like, what are the responsibilities of that person?
It's a great question. A DIT, digital intermediate technician or digital image technician. Normally, what they are, in layman's terms, when you shoot on film, you would package the film, send it out to a post-production house.
Yeah.
They would develop it, and then they would send production back the DVDs with the dailies and stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's basically a position that used to be post that now is on production, on set, now with digital. So I would work with, instead of having to wait to get your dailies back, now you can watch it in real time with
later that
digital
day.
That day.
Okay.
But DITs normally deal with color correction, putting in LUTs, lookup tables that normally cinematographers would already have a look in mind. So I would put it on there. It's a complicated early version of just putting filters that everyone's used to on like TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah,
you're like, I want to do sepia. I want to do a bluer tone. This was like more of a in-depth code to each look, to each thing. There's a numerical value to all that kind of stuff. So it's data wrangling as well sometimes, and it's also troubleshooting and communicating with camera operators and stuff like that. So you're like the on-set intermediate liaison between the camera department and the editorial department.
Gotcha.
So you're just kind of like ingesting all the footage, backing it up, making sure SD cards and hard drives are clean so they can go reshoot stuff.
Yeah.
But I did that for about 2 or 3 years. I think the biggest title I did was Chernobyl Diaries. They reshot their ending and they shot it here in Wilmington.
Okay, cool.
And so I was a DIT for that and had to learn a whole new system because they were using, they shot it in somewhere in Eastern Europe. I can't remember where. Obviously, they didn't do it at Chernobyl because it's still
not
a little radioactive.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But I remember I had to export everything in PAL because they shot it in Europe, which is 25 frames per second rather than the 24 frames or 30 frames that we're used to here.
Okay.
Yeah. The European is PAL. And so I remember that was like, ooh, I got to rearrange all my stuff to make sure it matches up with what they shot in Europe.
I wouldn't have thought about that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they got the metric system over there, so all the settings are different on the cameras and
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Television and film normally over there is PAL, is 25. Yeah. It's kind of not anymore because that was more in the video days. But everything's shot with digital cameras now, so they, it's either 30. I think 30 is like the magic one, unless you're trying to get cinematic,
Yeah.
You get 24 frames. Or you get nerdy, 23.98 or,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing there.
Okay. What did you like and dislike about being a DIT?
The thing I disliked was that you didn't really have a time to kind of chill because you're always catching up. You're always, trying to stay ahead of the day. And if you mess up, if you accidentally delete a card or do that, you're deleting the whole show. So like, there were times I'd come home at night on indie shows where I would have the whole movie like in my backpack, and if I, God forbid, got into a car accident, or
I get stressed out just thinking about it.
Like that. So that was the pressure with like DITs. I always had the movie, but it was a good negotiating thing because I'm like, oh, you haven't paid me. I won't give you the footage yet.
Pay me.
So that is, but what I did like about it, it's like an on-site desk job.
Mm-hmm.
So like I got heckled and teased a lot from my grip and electric brethren that I used to work with, and they're like, "Oh, look at Hollywood! He has his own tent, and he's got his own little chair, and he's got to sit there."
Mm-hmm.
But where they can just kind of like set up and then chill, I always was just like
always working
constantly. DPs, directors, whoever are always like, "Let me see this, let me see that, let me do this, let me do that," and then I have to like a lot of multitasking. So you have to constantly, at the end of the day. On some of the bigger movies and shows, I'd have 4 copies of everything that was shot on camera. So I would have to send a copy to production, I had to send a copy to sound so they can start editing, the colorist and the editor. And
keep a copy for yourself too, just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was fun. I liked it because it was like I'm in the mix, and I would help out camera move when we do different moves and stuff, or run to do batteries and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're just like married to the
screen.
Yeah. And you're usually set up right next to Video Village, so that so they can look at the color time or the LUT that I would have to plug in that way there. All technical, it's got really technical stuff into it, which I love. I enjoy troubleshooting that kind of stuff. I'm not good at it now because I'm out of it, been out of the game for too long, but it's easier. It's easier now.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
for sure.
Look at all the software. Look at all this cool software you got now.
What other stuff did you do in camera department besides DIT?
I did a little bit of second work. Not great at it because you have to be out. My penmanship was terrible.
Yeah.
So you have to be very diligent and legible on the slate and stuff like that. And camera notes when you're doing that. Camera notes, camera reports. I mean, I never really pulled. That was never my thing. I was like, ugh, So I always. I tipped to my hat with first ACs and stuff because I was like, oh, that's too much pressure. Talking about pressure, that was a different pressure I didn't want, where everyone's like staring at you.
Trying to get
top
right.
focus. Like, oh, it is.
Yeah.
But that's the highest I got in camera was just that. Like I kind of stayed in the utility DIT world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's second every now and then, but I was lazy with my marks. I was just like throwing those the stand T bags. I'm like, there you go, there's your mark, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
And for the audience members who aren't familiar, what is the second AC exactly? What do they do?
Oh yeah, second AC is the second assistant camera, and they're the ones they've probably seen in behind the scenes the most manning the slate.
Yeah.
So you see it, take what, scene what, they hit the mark, the marks and stuff like that, and that's mainly for editors, note keeping for ourselves, and we would, at the end of the day, as a second AC, you would take your camera notes and scripty notes, and then you would give it to the editor so that they can know which takes that the director approved. I like that take. Don't worry about the other ones.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. What did you like and dislike about second ACing?
Just the whole running around because you're constantly moving, The good thing about it is the days went really fast.
Yeah.
In camera, mostly like you're either working the shot or setting up the shot. And so you didn't have a lot of downtime, which made the day go by real quick, which is awesome.
For sure.
But that's also the negative. It's the same. It's like you're constantly working. You don't have a lot of what I liked about G&E is you would set it up and then you just have to wait for the scene to be
Yeah.
over, or the actors, and then you
Yeah.
either take it down, set up another scene. Here, you're just constantly working.
Oh yeah, for sure. What jobs specifically did you have in the G&E department?
Oh, I was just like an additional, I never got into like best boy or any rigging or any of that kind of stuff. It was just like normal electric or normal grip, just kind of there, you know. I think I only got hired because I would make the day light. I wasn't like the best or the fastest or like, you know, the most efficient. Same with camera. It was just like, I always just try to keep everything light. And if I got serious, people knew like stuff was going down because they're like, oh, why is Marco like sad or whatever? And I'm like, oh, because I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, there was a movie I did in Charlotte. Shorty was on it with me, where I was a DIT and I accidentally deleted half of the day's footage, ACAM's footage, on a set where it was the only day that we were there. It was a courthouse in like Concord. Yeah. It was like in the Charlotte area. I think it was Concord. Yeah. And I had to go to the first AD and be like, yo, I just lost half of your thing. And he's like, you gotta, you know, like, can you recover it? Because if I couldn't, he gave me 1 hour to figure out if I can recover it. Because if not, he had to tell the extras to stay and reshoot that scene that I just deleted. That was the only time that I thought I was going to get fired for losing the footage. Yeah. And that's when everyone was like asking me, hey, what you want from Crafty? And I'm like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I was pale in the face, but was able to recover the footage. And no one really knew about it till like the rap party. Okay. And, like, even the director didn't know. And they're like, what? You almost lost like half of the days? I was like, yeah. Yeah. But I didn't want to stress anyone out. But I had to communicate it to the first AD because he's like, yeah, he's got to know. So it was like an inside joke throughout the rest of the shoot. They're like, you didn't delete any footage today, did you? I was like, nah, man. So then I made my own system up of how to do it. And it was like, I see it now. And I almost was like, I don't want to be like that guy. I mean, like, I think I created that system. But like any of the, like when you give cards, I used to put green paper tape on them to say it's clear. And then if there's red on there, not to record on it.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good system.
Yeah. So I did it my own way there. But I know that's, I was in the DIT infancy days where like, there was no software. So it was just all stuff that I had to try to make up as I go.
So the audience members who aren't familiar, what exactly is you said you were an additional in the G&E world?
Yeah.
What is an additional exactly?
Additional is like if the day is big, then you need more grips or electric. Same with camera. A lot of my camera work was additional work. It's like day playing, part-time work. Like, hey, we're shooting a big scene. Yeah. For example, like One Tree Hill, we would do a lot of like basketball or scenes where you had a lot of extras, and so they just added more or background actors. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be slanderous over here. Background actors, you would just need more camera units, and so I would go and be like a C or a D camera, second AC and stuff like that. That's usually most of the second work I did, was just being additional, stuff like that, or like second unit. I worked a lot of second unit, which is more for stunts and inserts and not having to deal with like main actors, which is great because you just kind of like, you know, go shoot this plates, go shoot this beautiful scenery. And they're like, cool, we're done. Go home. That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's that kind of work.
Cool. Did you ever go union in any?
I almost did. On Journey to the Journey to Mysterious Island, I got to meet the director, the vice president of 600 at the time. They came down and they were like, hey, there's a lot more projects coming. We need more camera assistance and camera utility. But I did turn them down. I didn't want to go the pro route because I wanted to do my own projects. And got you. A lot of my friends have heard me tell the story 100 times, but there was a first AC that I worked with on Journey. And I had asked him kind of the same questions you're asking me. I'm like, what's one of your most proudest projects you ever worked on? And he said that his favorite project that he worked on was Memoirs of a Geisha. He pulled focus on 8-camera Memoirs of a Geisha. And I think it won Best Cinematography that year. And I was like, what? I'm working with these dudes? And on that show, most of the camera were from LA, and the DIT on Journey 2 just wrapped up the first Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar and stuff. So I got to learn a lot like from them and stuff like that. But,
for sure.
But I think his name was Mike, the first AC. He was telling me all his resume of like the stuff he worked on. Mm-hmm. But then he looked at me with like sad eyes. He's like, but I wish I would have done my own projects. I didn't have time to work on his own projects. And that just like hit me. Yeah. And then I was like, oh man. So I walked away from the pro world and started doing like industrials and stuff. Okay. And doing my own like, sort of thing there. But yeah, kind of segued into more of the education world. From 2016 to 2017 or 2018, I shot the human cadaver dissection, like from head to toe. Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's weird. I didn't know if I can handle it, but I did. I was able to, so I've seen pretty gross stuff, I'm sure. Eyeballs, brains opened up, cavities, all that sort of thing. 2018 to 2019, I shot a guy that was running for mayor of Chicago, and I did his campaign stuff. That's awesome. By myself. And did that kind of stuff. That's cool. There. Cool. Yeah. So I was always in film or audio video related like stuff, but I wasn't doing like the big shows and stuff anymore, just because it gave me more freedom to choose and stuff like that. Sure. But and then in 2021 is when, after kind of the pandemic slowed down, that's when I came back and started teaching here at Cape Fear. Gosh. Okay. Yeah, that's when Duke was like, come back. So it's been weird. It's weird being full circle from being a student in the same place and now being an instructor. Okay. Yeah, because I've known Duke the whole time. So being from a student, mentor, friend, and now a colleague, that's why we butt heads all the time, because we're like an old married couple. I've known him for so long. So fair enough. Do you recommend, like, to up-and-coming young professionals, do you recommend going union or joining the union in some way? Because I know some people don't. Yeah, that's a great question. I've never joined the film union, so but I'm a pro-union dude. Like, I'm very, like, I grew up in Lansing, Michigan, born and raised there. Both of my parents worked at GM, so they were like UAW, United Auto Worker unions and stuff. Okay. And so I'm very pro-union, but with film, I understand it depends on the project, and it depends on what that certain individual wants out of like working. If you're more of a, hey, I'm just looking for a steady gig and like making money, totally join the union. Yeah. If you have more of a creative bite that you want, you don't necessarily have to. It's more of just like, hey, going out, doing it, go to a film school. I'm not. I break my. I know I'm like what do you call it? A hypocrite. Where my first day of class in my courses, I tell all the students that they don't have to go to film school at all. No. Yeah. Not at all. So like all of the information is out there. There's a lot of great YouTube and self-creators that teach you all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. The one thing I will say that film school is great for, the silver lining, is like what you guys are doing. You meet like-minded people. Yes. And so you can kind of get into the networking and the kind of like community side of it. Yeah. And be like, okay, I'm not such in a silo by myself. Like, this is too intimidating. Now you can ask for, classmates and friends to come help out and work on projects and stuff. Sure. And it also depends on what state you live in. I know North Carolina is a right to work state, so you can kind of get away with getting on union sets without being in the union. Yeah. And vice versa. Yeah. The way I did it was they were taking out my union dues on the pro movie sets, even though I wasn't union. But if I were, I would have been like retroactively like, got in there. But mine was a special. It was weird. It was definitely like my peers at the time were like, you're an idiot, dude. You turned down 600. You know how hard it is to try to get in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They waived my fee and they were just like, yeah, we'll just take your dues out and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. I know.
That's
I know.
awesome. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to flex. I'm just like telling you that. Yeah, to be honest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, to your own. I would say if you want to work as crew, for sure. If you want to be a creative, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
You can, especially with like the different avenues with like YouTube and Twitch, any of those kind of other outlets, so that it's easier for you to distribute your content.
Yeah.
That you don't have to go through like those gatekeepingness of like what Hollywood we able to do.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
What would you say are some of the pros and cons? And you don't have to repeat yourself, but anything else you want to mention? Like, what are some of the pros and cons of joining the union? Oh,
for sure. Well, the money for one, and the benefits for two.
Yeah.
Those are great. I think the film unions are some of the best in the world, honestly. Like, when it's ran correctly, or you have the right, people in charge. Yeah, you got a lot of, I'm trying to think of my rates. Like when I was a camera utility on Journey back in 2011, 2010, I can't remember, it was somewhere there. I was making, and I was the bottom rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
I was making like $32 or $33 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, and then camera ops at the time were like around $90 to $100 an hour, plus their kit rentals and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can make a great living
doing
that,
for sure.
But like when you're on a pro set, and why I kind of walked away from it is like you're there. It's like a adult day camp.
Yeah.
You're just there, 12, 14 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7 if you're running behind, So again, it doesn't lend you to have motivation or even have the strength to like go and do your own thing because you just want to relax and R&R because you've been working. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, but money's great. The benefits are great. When you're indie, you kind of have to try to figure that stuff out.
Figure it out yourself.
Yeah. So, sure. It's all about what makes sense to the individual at the time. But I do like unions. I love unions.
Yeah, I mean they're very beneficial and they serve their purpose.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
But they're not for everybody.
Oh, for sure.
So when you say industrial stuff, what do you mean specifically by that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Industrials, so you think of like narrative things, which is your traditional movies and television with scripts. Mm-hmm. You got documentaries, documentaries most people are familiar with, commercials that are and industrials are like the most meat and potato type of like audio visual work. It's your training videos, it's your how-to videos, it's your, you just got hired at Target. Here are the different things, so they pay well, but it's pretty boring in the sense of like, there isn't much artistic things that you can put in there because it's more information based rather than like entertainment. So when I was teacher's assistant in the anatomy and physiology courses, I was trying to get the educational videos up to par with what people are used to in the entertainment world. Yeah. Because everyone is just using these old slides and like PowerPoint stuff. Yeah. And students are checking out. And I was like, no, we need to make it look more like YouTube videos. Or instead of having one hour chunk of video, let's split it up into 10 6-minute little bits. Yeah. So then students can digest the information better and more direct. Because a lot of non-film and video people, once cameras get in their face, they freeze up, or they just kind of like want to lecture like they lecture in real life, where they repeat themselves a lot. Yeah. And in video, you don't have to repeat yourself because you can scrub back. You can just say what you need to say, and then let the students, if they didn't understand a concept or whatever, rewind, do it again, do it again. So it was a little like learning curve I had to do with instructors, because I also shot lectures, interactive lectures, and kind of did something like this where I would play like a dumb student being like, you tell me how to do this, and it was more interactive. And once the pandemic hit, that's when I really got busy because everyone needed more supplement materials.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was a little lucrative for me those couple years there.
Sure. Yeah.
Doing that. But yeah, industrials, basically how-to videos, training videos, government, info kind of stuff. Not entertainment based, but now I'm back at, more of the artsy side and have been being more of a writer. And Duke asking me to teach the screenwriting class has made me a better writer because I'm practicing what I preach and teach to the students at the same time to try to help them find their own voice and like their creative thing. So that's my new thing now is I kind of left the tech world behind and be like, oh yeah, let me get in this arty side.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. How did you get involved doing industrial stuff?
Through the school, through the science department and stuff. Because once they learned that I knew, because they knew already I knew the tech side because I would program the medical simulators that they had, the mannequins that like and their eyes can blink and you can like program them to like it's gross, but it's true. Pee and poop and bleed and stuff. But it's all like food coloring. It's all like distilled water and like food coloring and stuff.
That's crazy.
But I would those mannequins had built-in lavaliers, and so I knew how to program them so that I can talk through them. And I would mess with the students when they get close. I'm like, don't touch me. And like they'd lean their hands on like the thighs and stuff, and they freak out. And I'm like, I'll mess with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I always told them that if they came to life and it's something that I didn't do, I'd be the first one out the door. And I'm like, see ya. You guys got to deal with it. Peace out. Go deal with those robots. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. But it was that. It was through that tech. And then once they realized I graduated from the film program, they started asking if I can shoot more videos and stuff like that for them. And I just would, use my knowledge and be like, oh yeah, let's do it this and that way. And I'm literally like the definition of a jack of all trades. I've done a lot of the like logistical and the technical side of film, not a whole lot of the art side. But yeah, I can keep stuff in focus and a just different color. But it was night and day with like what they were using because they were still using videos from like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s to teach.
Gracious. Yeah.
And I was like, no, we can modernize this a little bit. Same information, but just make it more palatable for students now,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I got into that side of the world.
How did you get involved in like the science department? Like were you trying to get another degree in anatomy or something?
Not at all. No. It was an instructor that used to teach here. He is good friends with Duke. His name was Mark. He came to the film program, was like, hey, I just need someone to help shoot with these mannequins. And so Duke was like, go work with this guy. So I was just doing, videography work with him. And I saw the tech that he had with him programming these mannequins. And I was just curious. I was like, oh, let me show you how to do those. And once I found out that they're just many of the computers inside of them, they basically have the same guts as like a laptop with like pneumatic tubes and stuff to simulate water and our urine and blood and stuff. I was like, oh, this is cool, so I got my hands dirty and would open them up and reprogram them or fix a wire or fix a tube or put little like connectors and stuff in it. So I ended up learning how to do a lot of like basic clinical skills for EMTs and like nurses and stuff. I know how to take your blood pressure with a manual blood pressure cuff. I can intubate you if you like can't do it. I know how to put the tube down into your trachea and like blow up the thing, all that kind of crazy
That's
stuff.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. I'm rusty though. I'm losing because I don't teach them anymore. But
So what skills would you say are needed to succeed if someone wants to go work in the camera department, specifically be a DIT? What skills would you say that person needs to develop or to acquire?
I would say, just in film in general, is to the most important, of course, your trade. Like whatever trade that you're getting into, make sure it's something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's gonna feel like work or homework.
Yeah.
I know most people would rather shoot themselves in the head to do like data charts like this, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I kind of enjoy it. I got that, you know, I like the little data entry kind of stuff there.
Yeah, for sure.
But the most important thing is being flexible and being able to work with different personalities. Because no matter what department you go into, they're going to be different people. And so like the social aspect isn't talked about a lot. And I try to emphasize that in like film school, like not here, is yes, we want to make sure that everyone knows the technical side of things and the logistical side and the art side. Yeah. But the communication side, that's the biggest one. It's just learning how to communicate with people, not taking things personally. You're going to see a lot of people. What I'm glad about nowadays is like the things that I don't think most current students or new filmmakers didn't have to deal with, which I think is great. The stuff that like the Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff brought along. Because when I was a PA, there was a lot of like shouting and a lot of like, you know, hazing a little bit, you know. I don't bring it up as much because I try to be more merit-based, but I'm a Mexican-American descent. And there's not a lot of me in the camera department. There's a lot of white, you know, so that was a little difficult kind of thing too, a little bit there. Not so much now, but it's just kind of like learning how to deal with different personalities and be able to just kind of like focus in, because it gets stressful, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And depending on who you work with or work under, you know, they try to act like they're curing cancer, but we're just doing a bad, you know, TV teen drama. You know, there's no reason to yell at everybody. You know, so that being said, I'm not big on any means to an end, you know? I'm not a big fan of like torturing anyone or trying to get them to get like the best performance out of them and stuff. I'm like, you can be nice and still have good product at the end of it. Performances and crew, you know. But I would say like just being able to navigate different personalities. And I know it's tougher now because I see it with students, you know, they have a hard time just communicating because everyone is so opinionated with like what they are, and you're going to run into people that, you know,
they're like that.
They're not going to, you know, for whatever reason, they're not going to like you because you're a DC fan and they're a Marvel fan or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's, you know, I'm a U of M fan and they're Ohio State, whatever it is. It's like, you just got to have to learn with, dealing with different people. And once you do, everything goes a lot smoother, you know, just, just keeping thick skin and just kind of going with it, and know that if you have beef with someone, you don't necessarily have to work with them again on a different project. Hopefully. You know, so, but just staying cool, calm, do stuff, do healthy things of being able to relieve stress and that sort of thing there. Yeah,
for sure. Specifically, not just film, but like as a DIT, what skills would you say someone needs to acquire if they want to go be a DIT?
Man. I feel so old school on there. I think with the DIT is being able to multitask and I would say, because a lot of this, like this stuff that I did is more software based now. So you just kind of like, it's more of a babysitting. But I would say the best DITs I knew could easily hop in any position on camera. So being multifaceted that way and really understanding the equipment that's being used, because sometimes you have to troubleshoot and try to figure it out, you know, not only in the camera side but on the editing side and the post-production side too. Like if there was some damage, like for me, I made the mistake and accidentally deleted the footage, but there's times where you have corrupt files, you know, the SD cards are not reading, you know, that sort of thing, and then trying to troubleshoot that. So it's just being able to be comfortable with stuff that doesn't work or something, and then be able to have like at least plan B's, C's, D's, and E's and stuff to figure that kind of stuff out. But I think it's a lot more user friendly than when I was doing it. So like
technology's evolved so much.
And so there's a lot of safety kind of guidelines already built into those softwares that are like, oops, this thing is not working, you know, here's our suggestions and stuff. But keeping a cool, you know, cool demeanor is probably the best thing, because you don't want to freak out, because everyone else will start to freak out when you do it, you know?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I would say that sort of thing. Cause, and it, piggybacking off of what I was saying about personalities, with DITs, you do work directly with the cinematographers and sometimes directors if they're more technical directors. And you may be stuck between mom and dad where they would cinematographer would ask for one thing, director would ask for a different thing. And you're like, okay, I don't know. And just, you know, I usually side with the cinematographer because that's your direct boss. But, but you know, sometimes you get overridden. So, but yeah, just keeping a cool, calm demeanor, you know. That's what helped me, was just being able to like admit where I need help and then reassure people that if you're confident in troubleshooting, they're like, yeah, we can fix this, we can figure this stuff out.
Do you have anything else you want to add, just general related to film or videography? Or
it's a tough business. It's, you know, it's a lot of feast or famine, you know, as everyone is going through right now. My suggestion is you gotta love it. Whether like the scenario I like to bring up to students is say, take money aside. You're living in the place that you want to live. You're flush, you know, you got the lifestyle that you want to live with, like family or single or whatever it is. If you had all the means taken care of, the basic means, would you still do this? Yeah. Would you get up in the morning and had total freedom? What would you do? And if you choose to do this, then you're in the right spot, you know. And if not, then go do that thing. There's nothing wrong. You can still be a fan of film and televisions and not want to work in it. Yeah, I get it. For like sure. It's a very gypsy lifestyle. And, you know, trying to come and go. You know, and some people like more stability and stuff like that. So I don't, you know, I don't want to yuck anyone's yums, but it's like you gotta love it. You know, you gotta be a weirdo, you know, outcast freak to like this kind of job and stuff and work and career, because it doesn't make sense, you know. Doing a lot of I tell this, like a lot of the early work that I have done, I rarely got paid, or I get paid as much as you guys. So like, here's $100 a day. I'm like, $100 a day now doesn't last as long as it did 10 or 12 years ago, you know. So I'm like, okay, $100 a day now is good, but I feel like for most people that work in the industry, they do it for the sense of love and not really for the money, because there isn't a lot of money for below the line crew. You know, it's unless you're in the union, but even then it's hard because there's not a lot of work. There's not always work. Exactly. Gotta love it. I would say like you gotta, you know, if you wake up in the morning and that's the thing you would want to do out of all the things, then you're in the right spot. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate it. Sorry. Yeah. Absolutely. So that's it. That's my interview with Marco. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions, and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Who would you like to see me interview next? I can't promise that they'll say yes, but I can ask anybody. As always, thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe. Have a good day. Cool. See ya.